If you could see the world through my eyes, vibrant purple sunrise, shards of broken dreams come raining down.
Mark here, Life and Fitness Files. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with content. Today, we're going to be talking about making some of your own homemade spools to organize wire, cables, rope, whatever it is that you need so you can get organized. When I looked online, I was not able to find any cheap, easy spools to use. So I thought I'm going to make some of my own, ideally out of materials that I already have. So hopefully this video helps you. Let's jump in. I'm going to be using a 2x2 piece of lumber. If you had a smaller dowel, just so it's not as heavy, that'd probably be better, but this is what I have. It was a piece that broke off because of a knot, so I'll make use of it. And I have a thin piece of plywood. This is a 1/4 inch. This makes it so that I can use it for the end, but it's not too heavy, so this will work great. I'm gonna use my bandsaw. You could use some other types of saws if you have those around or more ideal for you. I'm gonna take this and cut probably a 8 or 10 inch piece to use as the spool. Turn on my bandsaw here. So here we go. That's the foundation of my spool. You could use a radial saw or chop saw or a table saw even to cut this, but I'm going to be using this for the ends to round them out a little bit, so I'll just use the same saw for both. Now, my plywood, I'm going to cut off some of this scrap, and I'm going to make 4 pieces because I'm going to make a couple of spools. So I'll cut this into square-ish pieces. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so I've kind of marked this out. I'm going to cut off some of these extra pieces here with my bandsaw. Cut off the scrap pieces. All right, got my scrap pieces cut off. I'm going to cut these fairly even as best as I can. So here I have 4 relatively square pieces. Now I'm going to round out the corners just to make them a little bit easier to use or maneuver. I'll make some quick markings so I have something to guide me as I'm cutting. Cut off these corners just to round it out a little bit, but I don't want to cut off too much so I don't lose surface area for actually using as my spool. Mark these off. All right, got these marked. Turn on my saw here. Does not need to be perfect. Go. That's one of my ends. Obviously not perfectly circle, but it will work. I have 4 end pieces here. I'm going to be making 2 spools, 1 of these pieces on each end. I have 2 rods here. Now, I'm going to use my drills here. I'm going to make a couple of holes to get the screw started so I don't strip out the wood. I'm also going to make a couple of holes just so I can start the rope, string, wire, whatever it is, so I can loop it through the end. All right, I'm gonna use some screws. Ideally, you wanna use more than one screw when putting these in just to make sure that it doesn't spin around. That prevents it from doing so. Get it started here. Okay, get the next one started. There's one end. I'll do the same thing on the other side here. There you have it. Homemade little spool. I can use this for wire, for rope, just to try to get organized and keep things tidy. Have some holes screwed on the end just to loop that through as a starter and or finish it out so I don't lose track of the end or the start of that rope or wire. So since I couldn't find any online, just thought I'd make my own. Obviously, the bigger that you make the ends, the more you have to move to get around it. The same thing is true of this spool rod in the middle. If you have a smaller dowel or something, you could use that as you'd have more surface area to wrap around. But this is what I had. You might have some scraps laying around. Make good use of them. Pretty easy. Didn't have to go buy one. It's stuff that I already had. So hopefully this video helps you. If you have any questions or comments, leave those below. Other things you'd like to see or know how to do. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with content. Here's to life and fitness. Peace out.
Afraid of what you might lose, walking miles in someone else's shoes.